Hello, welcome to NASBAT English, the channel dedicated to training speaking comprehensively from A to Z. Before I continue, don't forget to click subscribe and the notification bell so that you'll be connected and notified always. In this video, I number 0 because number 1 later would be our first lesson. It is going to be about the introduction to this channel so that you can get to like it and love it. First things first, let's take a look at the name of this channel, which is NASBAT English. Now, NASBAT here can be made nicely to stand for not a skill but a tool. It means that English today is not a skill but just a tool for anyone who needs it to fulfill his need in English learning, in learning English, whatever that is. And there is a motto, a yell that I devised for this channel and also the website, and that is NASBAT not bad. I think it's a catchy one because they sound similar, and I deliberately compounded the two words of not and bad into one, so don't mind it. The learning materials I present in this channel are intended to be for students, university students, general public, and also professionals. And in the spirit of us all being equal and informal, I'm going to use the address terms of you or you guys to address you, my audience. The primary belief or principle that is adopted by this channel is that language is sounds, which is why it decides to focus itself on training speaking. Language is sounds. The learning materials covered here are going to serve the mastery learning purpose. That is, they are going to be structured in such a way that they start from the easiest to the most difficult ones, like on a continuum, from those being easy to those being difficult. The materials are going to be based on what we know as functions, simply meaning uses of language to perform or to do things like asking, answering, telling people to do something, introducing self, all the way to giving a presentation. This is like they are placed on a continuum from those being easy to all the way down to those being difficult, on a continuum. There are two kinds of language to be covered in all the learning materials here, and the first one is what we call fixed expressions, meaning expressions that stand as they are. They cannot be changed, you cannot change them, they are fixed. And I have some examples of these. Okay, these are some examples of fixed expressions. They are highlighted in yellow. In number 1, for example, in a greeting, good morning, how's life? Okay, in number 2, in a little introduction, my name is Adrian, call me Adrian, I go to junior high 2, I'm in the 8th grade. Number 3, it's a piece of advice, you'd better see a doctor, you look sick. Number 4 is a suggestion, I suggest we go home now, it's beginning to rain. And in number 5, it's a prohibition, using don't walk on the grass, you'll ruin it. Now you can see that even though you add some more information to those highlighted expressions that are fixed, you can see that information is not that complex, yeah, and they therefore still make up fixed expressions that are not that difficult to learn, and they are easy to remember because they are just like that from time to time without any change at all. The second one is called creative language. Now, unlike fixed expressions, creative language is one that is supposed to be created by you yourself. You have to create the language yourself using all the vocabulary, the grammar, and everything else that you have at your disposal, your repertoire, in such a way that you can perform still um, effectively in the language, in communication. And also, I have some examples for these. In number 6, we have an example of giving an opinion. Okay, starting with the expression I believe. You can see that there are also some fixed expressions highlighted in yellow, but you can also see that there are more pieces of information added, suggesting that this is more complex, more complicated, and usually um, this is for higher order thinking um, language functions. Yeah, they call it higher order thinking language function, like giving an opinion in this case. So let's just read it. Number 6. This is about individual unconventional tin mining. Excuse me, individual unconventional tin mining that I have in my island, on my island, which is very serious when it comes to the destruction of the environment. So let's just take a look at it. I believe individual unconventional tin mining will produce more harm to the environment than prosperity to the people practicing it. I submit to you the following 3 reasons: first, second, third, in short, blah blah blah. So you can see that this is much more complicated than just the fixed expressions we just learned in the previous examples. Okay. Um, we have a second example there. It's about describing a picture, and you can see that even describing a picture can involve complicated language, like what you can see there. And I think we don't need to read that because it's kind of longer, but you can see that it's complex and complicated. To perform the functions using either the fixed expression or the creative language, the language which is preferred is that of elaborate language, which means that the language is rich, long, sufficient, adequate to perform the language function of whatever that is. Um, um Fixed or creative language. This is opposed to restricted language, which is poor, insufficient, inadequate to perform functions. And students are recommended to use elaborate language rather than restricted one, because it's going to be better for them. Other aspects that are also important will find their way into the materials. They can be in the form of building blocks of language like words, phrases, clauses, sentences, parts of speech or word classes like noun, verb, adjective, adverb, okay, and also tenses like present tense, past tense, but they are not going to be given separately. They are going to be incorporated into the lessons. Well, I think that's all the introduction that I can give about our channel here. I hope still you learned something from this. I'm going to see you again in our first lesson to come. So until then, keep safe and bye-bye.